This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. You have the code of the machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you never stood here. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome, Quack.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome to Veteran Talk with Magic Mike, where what's important to you is important to us. Let's talk. I'm your host, Magic Mike, and today we're diving deep into something close to my heart. How sharing your story and getting behind the mic can be a powerful form of rehabilitation. Whether you're fresh out of service, years into civilian life.
20 years. It's been 20 years since we saw each other in Iraq.
And he looks older in person.
Now, we're not all poets or motivational speakers, but you'd be amazed at how therapeutic it can be just to talk. One thing I've learned is that every story has value. Doesn't matter if you were on the front lines or behind a desk. Your experience is worth sharing, and trust me, somebody out there needs to hear it. Broadcasting gives us a way to say, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I've been through. It bridges gaps, builds community, and creates new purpose.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are live. You're listening to Veterans Talk right here on the station that's giving veterans a voice, MBR. Hopefully your day is going well. We started a little bit late because Magic Mike, he's on a mission, but that's okay. We have a great show planned for you today. He is going to be here in a little bit. Today's show, we wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world today. But before we do that, for the 30 minutes, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to start out with the tribute to the troop when we go on our first kind of like music break. And then when we come back, Magic Mike should be with us. Our greatest interview today, interview of the week at the top of the hour. We're going to be talking with Aubrey Rue's parents. If you haven't checked out the news, or if you've been kind of living under the rock the last couple of days, I can't pronounce it. It's you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this little girl has been lost for about 60 days. We're trying to bring more attention to her. I'm going to share the image file real quick so you guys can see who we're talking about. It's sad that we have to worry about that in the society. And, that's the reason why I was talking about navigating through the noise, just giving a little bit of a brief introduction of why we named the title as it is. With all the with all the negative stuff and all the political stuff that is out there, I think sometimes we fail to realize that there is some good stuff happening out there. The good stuff is, we're bringing this situation up front. We've had a very bad issue here in the United States just with sex trafficking and kids going missing. And the unfortunate part is that, people say they care, but until they're affected by it or they know somebody, they don't really follow through, and that's one thing at this network that our staff is very good about, is it's not just getting the information out there, it's following through. Yeah, we're just like a Wayne's World radio station, but we're getting this information out now. In fact, in the last couple of days, the positive progression has been, their parents have been on Nancy Grace. So now it's starting to get, national news. I hate when people, they bring up the Patino situation, white privilege or whatever. I hate when they bring that out, because I don't think it's so much about white privilege. I think it's more about, who's behind them. We have a strong society. We have a strong society that if you tell them what we need or what we're looking for, people will help if they can, and there's so much negativity out there. I strongly encourage you to kind of, avoid the negativity and look at, I didn't want to do that. Look at the positive stuff that is happening. We already know that there's an issue with sex trafficking in the world today. If you've seen the Sound of Freedom, if you saw that movie that came out, the positive thing is I see some changes happening. I see some changes happening with like the tariff that was just reported not too long ago. When we go on our music break or tribute to a troop, I'll explain to you what is coming out in the trending news today. But the inflation is down a little bit. They just reported that just a few minutes ago. I'll get you the resources for that momentarily. But like I said, today's episode is all about Aubrey Wu, I believe 14-year-old that has been gone for 60 days. Doesn't matter how she's been gone. Doesn't matter why. We need to find her. We need to find her. We need to find her. We need to find a lot of missing children. In today's world, I think we're worried about the wrong things, and we need to focus on the stuff that we can control. We can control this. If we get this picture up every single day, just kind of like a music video in your face every single day, eventually somebody's going to see that pretty face and they're going to call the authorities, and we're going to get this fixed. So that's just some of the things that we're working on. The tribute to the troop that we're doing today is a little bit different. He is a firefighter. Here on Military Broadcast Radio, we identify and we dedicate our life work to helping veterans and first responders. Whatever they need, that's what we do. That's our mission. And if that means that we have to partner with other nonprofits to help with our mission because we just don't have the manpower, then that's what we're going to do. And then we'll worry about the funding later. Mission first. Okay. If you are a veteran or you're a first responder and you're seeing this right now and you need help, or you need, let's just say you need navigation. Let's say you need help navigating to get a VSO claim in, or if you need assistance with something, reach out. You know, we're not egotistical here. Reach out. Well, we will help you the best of our knowledge and the best of our ability. With that being said, we are going to go on the tribute to the troop, and then probably around 3:30, that's when you'll see Magic Mike, and me and Magic Mike will address some other things that are navigating through the noise. But before we go on the tribute to the troop, keep this in mind. If you're going today and you can't find a friend, or you can't find somebody to talk to, and you feel alone, you feel depressed, be that person. Be that person that goes to another person. Hey, are you okay? Because if you need somebody to talk to, or you need some positive enforcement because you have that secondary voice telling you that you're not good all the time. If you have that, be that person that reaches out to somebody else just to see how they're doing. Because I'm sure if you're going through what you're going through, the next person, your neighbor to the right, is going through the same thing. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Into the Weeds, for tuning in. She's exactly right. It only takes 8 minutes to save a life. It only takes a 8-minute conversation. All right. Don't worry about push-ups. Don't worry about don't worry about walk-in or anything like that. Sometimes it starts with you. Reach out to that battle buddy that that you haven't talked to him and in 15, 14 years, and hand out that olive branch. Hey, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. So with that being said, we're going to go to the first tribute to the troop, just for the simple fact that I don't know if I'm rambling or not. In the radio business, we call this winging it. So whatever you do, stay with us. Don't go away. Tribute to the troop is now, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about navigating through the noise. Thanks for listening to Veterans Talk here on MBR.
Detail attention.
First call. The service member's name is called out loud in the context of a unit. This is meant to ensure all are present and accounted for. Second call. The name is called again, louder to confirm that the service member is indeed absent. Third call. The name is called for a final time, followed by a statement indicating that the service member is not present and accounted for, signifying their death. The final roll call serves as a symbolic gesture to respect and remember their service.
Sir, I don't know how to tell this story.
Well, you got to, Joe. You tell the American people what these men did here. You tell them how my troopers died.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to MBR today as we pay tribute to Assistant Fire Chief James Self, age 55, of Arlington, Texas. James was born on September 7, 1964. James, or Jim as he was known to his friends and his family, joined the Marine Reserves in 1982. In the reserves, he was a Field Artillery Batteryman, MOS, 0811. He served from 1982 until his discharge in 1987. He achieved the rank of Lance Corporal and was assigned to Delta Battery, 2nd Battalion, 14th Marines, 4th Marine Division. His brother and one of his sons followed in his footsteps and joined the Marines. Jim was proud of his service and kept the Semper Fidelis spirit throughout his life. Jim found his second calling in the fire service and joined the Arlington Fire Department in Arlington, Texas on January 25, 1988. Jim made his first promotion to apparatus operator on December 4, 1995, and was promoted 4 times between the years of 1999 and 2010, when he was promoted to Assistant Fire Chief on September 6, 2010. Jim retired on April 30th, 2020, after 32 years of dedicated service. The following year, Jim died of occupational cancer on January 26, 2021. The personal and professional impact he had on those who knew him could not be emphasized enough. Jim is survived by his wife Jamie and his children and his AFD family. We here at MBR would like to thank you, Chief Jim Self, for your service and dedication to our country. You leave a legacy of love and courage. Our prayers are with your family, friends, and those who served alongside you. You are truly missed.
Bell detail, Pinton. Ready.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey, from the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. Oh.
It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandals' 16 all-inclusive, luxury included, adults-only resorts, or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get Thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting from Denver, Colorado, here on a beautiful day. We are broadcasting right here for the station that's giving our veterans a voice, MBR, on Veterans Talk. I love my staff, so they already know that Magic Mike's going to be a little bit late. So I had one of the staff members came in. She's like, I'm here if you need me. And she lost her internet. I'm telling you, that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with, you know. We're dealing with all kinds of crazy internet here lately. But what I did want to do is I wanted to bring your attention to some of the news headlines. And I'm just gonna bring that up. So first of all, some of the news that is trending right now, going by sports. The NCAA AA basketball tournament, the 2025 Big Ten men's basketball tournament, is underway at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. This year's tournament features 15 teams, with the top 4 seeds as Michigan State, Maryland, Michigan, and UCLA. Receiving double byes into the quarterfinal, Premier League darts. Night 6 of the Premier League Dart is taking place at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. 18-year-old Luke Littler continues his impressive streak after recently winning the UK Open and retaining his Belgian Open title. The tournament features an 8-player knockout format, with players earning points based on their performance. Now, depending on where you're calling in or where you're checking in from, I can tell you right now we're at about 25 minutes past the hour, and the next agenda that we got on the thing is, I don't know where you're calling from, but like the weather here in Colorado is beautiful right now. Right now it's 64, sunny. The low isn't supposed to get into 56, and that's at like 9 p.m. What does that mean? That means everybody's summer's just around the corner. You gotta grit your teeth. You gotta grit your teeth. I know that daylight savings time killed us. I know, the winter, the snow. I mean, hell, Florida even got snow. I know that that's killing us. We gotta grit it. Okay, we just gotta grit it. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So, and then with the financial report coming in, stock market, U.S. stock futures are slightly down, with NASDAQ and SP 500 future lower by 6%, 4% respectively, after gains from positive February consumer inflation data. Intel shares surges 11% as Liputan was named the new CEO, moving past interim leadership after Pat Gelsinger's retirement. Wholesale inflation is expected to have cooled, with the producer price index anticipated to decline 3% from 4% in January. And, this is what I was talking about, navigating through the noise, because, and I'm going to get to it, but like the inflation, it's down. It is being posted by Bureau of Labor Statistics and usfacts.org and Reuters.com. So, you might see all these bad things that are happening and like the multimedia and stuff, but there's a lot of good things happening. And I think today's society, we're really bad at looking at the jar half empty instead of half full. And we really need to work that as a community. As of February 2025, U.S. inflation has decreased. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in February, down from a 3.0% increase in January. This decline was primarily influenced by 1% decrease in gasoline prices and a 4% drop in airline fare during February. Shit, somebody better call Southwest. However, certain categories experienced price increases. For instance, the shelter index rose by 3%, and the food index saw a 2% upstick, with notable increases in egg and beef prices. Despite the overall, and now remember, we're in this trade war with Canada, this tariff thing, okay? So most of our like meat products, dairy, all that stuff, it comes from Canada. So of course it's going to be up a little bit. So despite the overall decline in inflation, upcoming trade policies such as the proposed 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports may pose risk to this trend by potentially increasing production costs and consumer prices. Additionally, the Federal Reserve continues to monitor core inflation, which excludes food and energy prices, as it remains at 3.1% over the past year. These factors suggest that while inflation has recently declined, future trends will depend on various economic developments. Bottom line, I'm just breaking that down Barney style. I'm a TBI guy, so I don't know a whole lot, but, bottom line is we're teaching our states, we're teaching our American people to start working on stuff. We need to quit relying on other people to do lumber, aluminum, and that's going to create jobs. And that's one of the reasons why the inflation is going down, is because all these different companies like Apple and everything, they're coming back to the United States. So like I said, you can always look at something half empty, but you need to look at something completely full. We are going to go on our next break, and when we come back, it's DJ Magic Mike.
Hey, sorry I'm late, everybody. Got a little bit of a hiccup in the web and all that stuff, but no excuses. So here I am. Did you tell about a show yet, Joel?
I told them about the show, what we did right now, because we had to start, and I knew that he was going to be late. What we did was we already got the tribute to the troop. We got that out, and
Listen, this guy's awesome, is he not?
And I read the recent post off of usfacts.org. Deflation is down. And we briefly talked a little bit about what was going on in the sports. March Madness is going on. And, if you want great coverage, check out the Till the Final Whistle every Monday. They come on at like 11:30, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or something like that. I'd have to look at the schedule again. It's been a day, but hey, they have great March Madness coverage. So that means that if you don't understand something, like I don't understand a lot of things, it's okay to ask them questions, because they'll answer the stuff. That's the great thing about being a DJ here at NBR. When you're listening in to a DJ and you want to hear something, all you have to do is send them a message, Guarantee
And
you,
they'll
they will
answer it,
play
yeah.
your music.
Hey, listen, we have a great show. We have a special
Yeah.
show today. That's why we're starting a little bit later. But we are dedicating our show to something that is near and dear to MBR's heart. And it's something that's very important, very, very important. So we cannot wait to have this show, and it's going to be impactful, and hopefully it'll do a lot of good. And I'll just keep it at that. So yeah, we here at MBR, we are veterans, and we love this country more than anything in the world, and we love the people in our country. And when one of the people in our country is hurt, it becomes personal for us, especially as a veteran, especially as combat veterans. It's very personal to us, and this is a story that is definitely personal to us. And we want to get the word out. We want to share it with you, and it's going to be impactful and very powerful. So if you guys will stay with us. We have more to come, and we'll share more with you as at the top of the hour. Is that correct, H Train?
Yep, that's the top of the hour. We're gonna go on break, and when we come back off of break, what I was gonna kind of talk with everybody about is navigating through the noise. Before we get in our interview, Magic Mike is like the perfect person to talk about navigating through the noise, because sometimes we have trauma and we jump the gun and we listen to things. And recently, the secretary of the VA came out and he was telling the news crew, and we got video of it, hey, quit scaring my veterans.
Yeah.
You're not when you're passing out misinformation, all you're doing is fear mongering, and that is what we got to stop. So when we come back,
that's right. We come back from the break. I'll go ahead and dive into that along with H Train, who, by the way, is my battle buddy for life. As you guys all know, if you're joining us for the first time, H Train was my soldier in Iraq. We both were injured in Iraq at the same unit that we were with. And he's my brother. He's my veteran battle buddy, and he'll always be my brother. So as you know, him and I have played in the sand a little bit too much, and we both are very familiar with each other. So we get back from our break, we're going to talk about navigating the noise that's out there. And God only knows, with all the social media and stuff that we have out there, is a lot of noise. So after this break, we'll be right back on Veterans Talk, giving veterans a voice on Military Broadcast Radio.
Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. At 19 years old, he was sent off to war, not really sure what he was fighting for. So he fights for what's behind him and his brothers beside him. Together they'll weather the storm. 9 long months later and he's still alive. Fought several long battles you shouldn't have survived. Then the IED exploded as the ambush unfolded. He laid there bleeding as his brothers all died. Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. Reinforcements arrived in the nick of time. Old Doc had found him and called in the nightline. He awoke in the hospital. They patched all the holes. Too bad they couldn't fix the ones in his soul. 16 years later, he locks all the doors. unable to find anything worth living for. His family has left him, he feels society rejects him. With a bottle and a pistol, he falls to the floor. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he sat there and cried, with only his memories sitting there by his side. Brothers and sisters, we can't lose this war. Have we forgotten what the hell we fought for? Pick up the phone, don't knock on the door. 22 too many, we must carry on, fighting these battles until they are won. We know that we walk on the edge of a knife, but one simple call can save a life. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
And we're back here live at Veterans Talk with yours truly, DJ Magic Mike and H-Train in the studio. I'm just sitting here reading up about our guests and stuff. Hey, I got a question for you, H-Train.
Yeah.
Why is Amber sitting back there in the back?
Because Amber is she's shadowing. She's shadowing me. That's what she's doing.
I was gonna say, yeah. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody.
Well, nobody puts baby in the. Well, see, this is the issue. She has cricket internet, and
wow, talk about shots fired, Amber.
So you know she's trying her best, but you know it's off and on. So
Amber, I am right now sitting in the parking lot at the main level at the Charlotte International Airport in the car on my computer using the Wi-Fi from my phone. So if that works, girlfriend, you go ahead and you do you, girl.
My internet is just terrible, so there's nothing we can do about it.
We still love you, and you still look great. Hey, listen, again, I always love you being on my show, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Amber here from Military Broadcast Radio. Man, I can't believe you had her backstage just shadowing, man. Bring her on. She can always be on this show.
Well, like I said, her internet it's unstable as a meth addict.
You're unstable too, but we still love you and bring you on here.
Very true. Very true. Very true. I'm so sorry, Amber. I didn't mean to put you in the corner.
Oh no, you're good, Joel. I was just here for support.
So, but yeah, I'm trying to.
Well,
I was trying to bring up this thing, but it's just not working for me. I'm trying to couple of things. I was trying to bring up the video
of.
Did I lose it? Well, the video that I sent you of the VA. What happened? With the news.
So just to give you guys a little bit, you know, and this is what we talked about before we went on the break with H-Train is, you know, really kind of navigating through the noise. The internet is a plethora of information. We all know that. We respect the internet, and actually, we don't respect the internet. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have today. We spend an average of, you know, I think the study said the average person spends about 12 to 16 hours a day on the internet or on their phone in some kind of either chat or social media and stuff. And that is not always great, right? Because we have a lot of things that happen. Actual socializing with people has become an issue and stuff. And we've seen that during the COVID, the lockdowns and all that. So It is a tool like anything else, and it should be used in moderation. The problem is our brains are always working. And when we engage them on the internet, on social media, on the news, it's a plethora of information that we're taking into our heads. And we're just, our heads, believe it or not, our brains have to filter that out. What's good, what we're keeping, what we're throwing out, and so on and so forth. The new norm is the good gossip, right? That is one of the, and everybody knows I don't talk religion or politics here, but that is really one of the greatest sins, really, is gossip. And I'll share the story, share the story with you guys. There are three preachers, and they all went on out fishing. And while they were all out on this boat, they said to each other, "Hey, while we're out here in the middle of nowhere where nobody can hear us, let's all confess our sins. What's our biggest sin? And we'll clear it. And when we get back, we'll be all cleared of it, and we'll pray for each other." And yeah, absolutely. So the first one said, my biggest sin is vanity. I love standing in the mirror. I love combing my hair. I love the way I look, etc., and so on and so forth. And he said, it's my biggest sin. I drive a Cadillac, I have fancy clothes, so on and so forth. We're going to pray for you, brother. The next pastor sits there and says, mine is just gambling. I love to get those little scratch offs, man. I scratch them off and stuff like that, man. I'm addicted to it. It's addiction to me. They said, we're going to pray for you. The last preacher sitting in the back of the boat, they said, well, what's yours? He said,
sorry about that.
And they said, that's all right. And the last preacher sat there and said, well, the preacher says to him, we agreed that we were going to be out here on this trip, that you're going to tell us what your guilty sin is, and we're going to clear it and pray for you, and we'll never discuss it again. And he said, nope. He said, listen, we all agreed on it. He goes, mine is gossip, and I can't wait to get back to shore. So the moral of that story is, right, we as natural human beings love gossip, right?
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, we love it. So when there's a juicy story, which is gossip, right?
Yeah.
We're indulged in it, right? We have become, the new norm has become, Big Brother, Orange County Real Housewives, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We love that. So when the news comes on, and you look at NBC and they're telling you the economy stinks, the president stinks, Canada is the best place to live right now. Then you turn on Fox News and they go, Trump is the best, the president's the best, Canada is the worst place to live, right? You now have so many things that you're looking at, and then you have another news station that sits there and says, you know what, Canada's not great, America's doing worse than whatever, and now you're more confused than ever. You don't know where the medium is, the actual middle is. How do you navigate through that noise, right? Now we've become a society where we fact check everybody, right? I do this all the time with Andrea. Andrea does it with me all the time. And it's not that we don't trust each other, it's that we have this little tool that we can fact check each other, right? Pick up a phone, takes 2 seconds. I literally just did it to my brothers right before the show. My brother Paul drives a Harley. My brother David drives a Harley. I drive an Indian. We all were joking and laughing. And my brother David, I said, I wish they wouldn't have taken Victory away. Oh, Victory's still here. I fact checked him and I sent it to him. Did I need to do that? No. Let him believe it. Let him believe it. Let him believe that Victory's still alive, right? And he wrote me back, and I know it was very hard for him. And he said, oh, you're right. I just Google searched it myself. You're right. We've become that society where we fact check everybody and everything. And that's in and itself is kind of a bad thing. When this is the rule of thumb that I use, when you think it's too good to be true, it usually is. It usually is.
And if it sounds too juicy, like you said, it usually is.
It's usually not, right?
I got this video. I'll play it real quick.
Absolutely.
Patricia, I really need to know. One of the things that I've been finding, we got into it a little bit in the discussion, but one of the issues that we're having is, and it's something here, I need your help on something. I need your help because all I seem to be doing lately is fighting back against innuendo and rumor stories. And this is what I seem to be fighting about all the time. In fact, Patricia, part of it is with you.
I'm sure.
And I just need your help because when you start headlines with, there's a rumor going around, and that we've heard that hurts my veterans. That scares my veterans. That scares my employees because it's not true. Will you commit to not doing that in the future?
Well, there was a DOJ representative that day.
I have a VA employee who is our DOJ liaison. You knew that, and you could ask that question.
I did ask that
But
question.
when you got the answer. But my question here is, I need you to commit to not starting off. Rumors began circulating.
I mean,
Well, if
that's
it's either true or false, Patricia, and then you go to Patty Murphy, saying that we've heard and we have made DOJ may have barged into the VA today. Unconfirmed hearsay. You know what you'd have done if I was a member of Congress and probably done that? Unconfirmed report. But you didn't put unconfirmed report.
Right.
So, Patricia, I want to work together with you.
Okay.
But I need you to commit to me that you're not going to do this.
I'm working on it, and I have. I have been. Actually, I have another question based on that. Thank you very much.
No, I want to hear the answer first. Are you committing not to do rumors? Because you're scaring my VA employees about this.
That's fair.
And you're scaring my veterans.
Yeah, I
That's
will
unforgivable.
do
That's
that.
not a something I
But
take
if
lightly.
a rumor is different than if.
All right. So the gist of that is, and H Train, man, nailed it on the head. That was the director of the VA, right? Director or deputy director? Or secretary, I'm sorry, secretary or deputy or undersecretary.
He's like the secretary of the VA right now. He knows
He's
everything.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea about that, right, is that he asked her to commit to it and she couldn't commit. It's very fair. It's unfair for it to be unconfirmed. It used to be a time in our news time, right? A decade. It used to be that I'm trying to get this car air conditioned to be like blowing lightly. But anyway, there goes Amber. Amber's
cricket internet.
Amber's refreshing. Bear with us. So listen, it's one thing. In our news decade, it used to be that they would call you to confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
They would say, hey, we need to confirm it. We are an investigative journalism and we're trying to confirm this. Before they confirm it, they wouldn't print it. None of that not confirmed that he was talking about, but they just wouldn't print it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had a news story that went and somebody challenged it and wrote them a nasty letter. I'll tell the story. I don't care. I was in my unit and I was home on leave. My father had passed away. And they put me in the newspaper and stuff. And this first sergeant, who was a POS, actually wrote a letter to the newspaper and said, he's not that great of a soldier. And, as a matter of fact, when he gets back to
well, now I'm starting to wonder
what the hell is that about? That's not cricket, baby. Anyway,
I don't know if it was you or me.
So if you got nothing nice, that had to be all. So if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. There was no reason for him to write that newspaper and try to smear my name. There was no reason behind it, right?
But did you see during the interview, Magic Mike?
Yeah, but the newspaper. Hold on.
She was defensive.
Right, she got very defensive. But the newspaper that first sergeant did that to reached out to me and said, hey, are these confirmed true or not? And I said, they are not true. That's somebody's opinion. Now, an opinion and fact are two different things.
Right.
An opinion is your opinion of something or somebody.
Right.
Fact is that's a fact, right? For you to say somebody's a POS, that's an opinion. When I said that about the first sergeant, that's my opinion, and that's my God-given right to have that opinion. Now, does that mean for fact he's a POS? In my book, he is, but that doesn't mean he's a POS in everybody else's book.
Right.
So
my thing was she was defensive until he's like, "Hey, I want to work with you." Yeah,
absolutely. He was nothing negative. There was nothing negative that he said. He said, "I want to work with you. Will you work with me?"
Right.
And he said, "Before I answer another question, or you ask another question, will you do me that favor?" And she still could not answer it, did she? She still didn't answer it.
He finally, when he's, "Hey, I want to work with you in the future," then she started getting off of the defensive. She was like, "Okay, I'll work on that." Everybody has a price.
Working. Listen, you're right. Everybody's got a price. It's not about working. It's about doing the right thing. And anyway, so we can go on to this about, but how do you navigate this, right? How do you navigate the truth, right? There's so many veterans that reached out to me when this broke with the VA and said, listen, am I going to lose my benefits? There's a rumor out there that they're going to cut benefits. Listen, there was a lot done under the previous administration that was stopped And there was a lot of stuff that was done under the previous administration that was started. On the previous administration before that, the same thing. And the previous before that, you know, the largest pay raise that the United States military has gotten was since Bill Clinton, right? So we had Bill Clinton, George Bush, right? He was there for 2 terms. Then we had Obama, right? 2 terms. And then we had Trump, 1 term. Then we had Biden, another term. And now we have President Trump again, right? The largest pay raise in the United States military, the VA, and people who retired from the military ever and pay increase since Bill Clinton to the first Trump administration was under the first Trump administration. That was the largest. So do your homework. If something sounds horrible, too fishy or whatever, how do you navigate through that? Do your homework. Do your homework. Multiple resources out there. You know, I get all the time stuff that, oh, this person died, this person this or this, whatever. And I freak out.
Right.
And I jump on the internet real quick and I look at it and I go, oh, he's not dead. Dude, I had one not too long ago that said Morgan Freeman died. I was heartbroken. Morgan Freeman,
Right.
I was heartbroken. And I went on there, I said, man, Morgan Freeman's coming out with another movie. Shh,
Dude,
ain't nothing
I
wrong
mean,
with that, man.
I got scammed. I saw an article and I'm like, oh shit. And I told everybody, guys, Joe Pesci died. They're like, I don't think he did. So, you know, I put in ChatGPT. Sure enough, he hadn't died. And I'm like, so I get caught all the time. That's why I do like the ChatGPT. Even though people don't like it somewhat, it helps me because I can put it in there and I'm like, is this true? You know, it's kind of like my Jiminy Cricket, you know, everybody needs a Jiminy Cricket. And that's kind of my Jiminy Cricket. One of the things that I wanted to tell you about before we have our guests on Magic Mike, before we go to another break, more noise navigating through it. Southwest just announced that they are doing away with free bags. So now
I did. That is factual. That is very factual. I just saw that. I'm at the airport right now. That is factual. They have signs up about that. So that is very factual. Yeah. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, this whole baggage thing is killing us, man. You know, next thing you know, what is that, sir? Yeah, you can bring your wallet. That's about it.
You know, the thing is what they should do is they should allow checked baggage. They should charge for carry-on. You know, carrying your suitcase in, because that takes up a lot of room.
Absolutely. Listen, we're not going to charge for your baggage, right? To check a bag. We're not going to, your first check baggage is free, but if you take a carry-on, $10. I'll pay that all day, every day. $10, $20. I'll pay that all day, every day. I'll pay that because I'm sick and tired of these people coming on with 3 to 4 luggages, trying to slam dunk in the overhead, a 25-pound bag that they got everything stuffed in there except for the kitchen sink. They got a small child in there.
Yes,
so we're going to take a little bit. We're going to take a little bit longer a break. Please join us at the top of the hour. We're going to have our special guest here, and we're going to take a little bit longer a break. Gives me a chance to go inside the airport and get some good internet.
And
we'll be right back.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, another thing, and we might cover it later if we have some time, but I believe it was in New Jersey. I'll get the report. It just came out. A woman kept her stepson in captivity for 20 years. He's now seeking medical attention right now. We'll have more about that story when we come back. And hopefully at the top of the hour, we'll be talking about Aubrey Wu. So whatever you do, stay with us. Don't go away. An extended music break.
Welcome to Deluxe Shoe Repair.
Look at you. Got your little side job? Okay.
How about quickly?
Do what you gotta do.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What can we do to help you today?
Well, I need to get my heels fixed, okay? See my zipper right here? You need to fix that for me so I can stay fierce. Thank you.
Congratulations on your new boyfriend. I saw your new man.
Are you seeing him? Mm-hmm.
I saw him.
Yeah, he look good. Oh my God, he's so smart. He intelligent.
Huh.
Oh my God, like he could speak Russian. He could speak Spanish. He know how to do math.
He knows math.
I got me a winner. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Had to get that upgrade on. Baby, come here real quick. Come up in here. Come here, baby. This is my boo-boo. Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly. It's okay. You gonna get yours too, boo. You'll get yours too.
I saw you in Walmart. You were holding his hand. We only been broken up for about a week and a half. Now I'm not jelly, I'm just telling you, you left me for him, but something looked peculiar, and I was noticing. Your new boyfriend is ugly, and I'm glad that he is. Why don't y'all go get married and have some ugly kids? When I was with you, didn't treat me right, and I was good to you. Your new boyfriend is ugly. I'm kinda glad that it's true. Come on, somebody. Hey, that boy's still ugly. You said all that I wanted was just to drive my truck, watch that ESPN and do some crappie fishing. Well, yeah, pretty much. I ain't gonna lie. Now, I'm not jelly, I'm just telling you, you were winning with me, but something looked peculiar. Now everybody can see your new boyfriend is ugly, and I'm glad that he is. Why don't y'all go get married and have some ugly kids? When I was with you, didn't treat me right, and I was good to you. Your new boyfriend is ugly. I'm kinda glad that it's true. I'm not the one for dissing, but I'm the one you're missing. Close your eyes when you're kissing. Hey. Your new boyfriend is ugly, and I'm glad that he is. Why don't y'all go get married and have some ugly kids? When I was with you, didn't treat me right, and I was good to you. Your new boyfriend is ugly. I'm kinda glad that it's true. Your new boyfriend is ugly, and I'll look better with you.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Hey, we're back with Veterans Talk with yours truly, DJ Magic Mike. I'm here mobile in Charlotte, North Carolina at the airport here, so I apologize. And I'm here with the H Train here on Military Broadcast Radio, giving veterans a voice. As you know, Veterans Talk is what's important to us is important to you. We have a very special guest that is near and dear to my heart. And before we bring them on, I wanted to just give you a little background to all my viewers out there. I have reached out to several different people to go ahead and rerun this with permission of MBR. to rerun this segment, not only just on MBR but across the world, if you will, and across international lines, which they agreed upon. So my contacts in Germany and so on and so forth said that they agreed upon it. This is something I grew up. Most of you know I grew up in the 1980s in Florida. Adam Walsh, the whole. Those of you who are old enough to remember Adam Walsh and the whole thing, way before he was on America's Most Wanted. That was something that happened during my age. So Adam Walsh's son would have been, or Adam Walsh would have been the same age as I am today. And this is something that's really serious in our society, because as veterans, as I said earlier, we care about this country. We protect this country. And when we come home as veterans, we still care about the people that are in this country. That's why we put on the uniform, because we care about our neighbors. We care about our friends, our family, and those who live in this country. And when I heard this story and I watched Nancy Grace and saw the news, my heart broke. It broke for a lot of reasons, because number one, as a parent of 2 children myself, as a parent, it's a difficult time. It's a difficult age, and we have a different time that we're living in. I just talked about the internet and how that is. So I'm honored to have them on my show, but more importantly, I'm devastated at what they're going through as parents. So I'm at a loss for words when the producer asked me and said, "Hey, Mike, we're going to have, trying to keep my composure. We're going to have Avery's Woo's family parents on." I told him I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to begin. And they said it's not about that. They said it's about what you're doing. And so, I have a couple questions to ask, and hopefully we'll get the word out. And all of you watching this segment, it's being filmed live right now, and it will be for viewing on Roku television, which is in VFW's, Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion posts around the country. Please help us. That's all I'm asking. Please help us. Pay attention. Help us. You can give 5 seconds to a reel on Facebook, 5 seconds to a reel on Instagram. Give me 10 seconds of this, if you will. So, H Train, without further ado, is it okay if we bring in Aubrey's
Interview
parents?
of the week.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
How you doing, Jade and John? I'm Michael. This is obviously Joel, and it's a very difficult circumstances that we have you here. To say I'm honored to have you here at the same time as I'm heartbroken. And
I wish we would have met on different terms.
Absolutely. So, if you will, just please, this is, I have some questions, obviously, I like to ask, but this is your format. Please tell us, about what exactly is going on. Where did this all start? How can we help as a veteran community and, get the word out there?
Well, first, thank you for having us on. Jade just hit me with the nudge on my foot there, so I know it's my turn to start.
You have a little helper too.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that's the first thing we want to, and we mean that from the bottom of our hearts. Platforms like yours, Mike, and the broader community really are what we're looking for right now as our best ally to end this nightmare, and to most importantly find Aubrey and get her home safe. The circumstances, I know we've told them many times. I'll try to keep it high level. On Friday, January 10th, we were visited at our home from the local police. So we live in a community called Palmer Township, right outside Easton City. And
what state is that? What state is that?
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah. So we were woken up at about 8 o'clock Friday, January 10th. They told us they were there to do a welfare check in our home for our daughter. We were taking a nap. We thought our daughter was also taking a nap. Dinner was on the stove. We went in her bedroom, and that's when we discovered that she had left our home via her bedroom window. From that point forward, to say we've been in a living nightmare for tomorrow will be 9 weeks exactly, that doesn't really fully encapsulate the experience. We are like many of your listeners out there. We thought we had a safe, structured home. We never thought something like this would happen to our family. But there are, I think, valuable lessons that we've been sharing with members of our community that come by every day to show support to Jade and I throughout this. And, the first and probably most important one I like to say is mind your children's business. One of our, biggest struggles probably from a parenting perspective was, that natural friction with a teenager who wants to do the types of things that we all did growing up. But we grew up in a different time. The access that bad people have to children via the internet, there, now these things, these telephones that we have that are really, let's be honest, they're small pocket-sized computers. And the story that I keep saying, especially to the moms, I grew up in an age where, I spent all my time at a playground. I drank from a garden hose. That's just how we did things. We were out all day long, but we were safe. And, if we were at the park, and I would go all day from park to park to park in the different neighborhoods of the town I lived in. There's the stickball park, the basketball park, the monkey bars park. Everything had a purpose, but every one of those areas mostly were very safe because the local adults of that community kept an eye on things. They kept an eye on the kids in there, and they made sure that bad actors in the community didn't enter that safe space. And now
it's the old saying. It's definitely the old saying, John, that, it takes a village to raise a child, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. And now with our phones and social media, the focus is on shareholder returns. It's on profits. And at the underneath layer of that is this enormous danger to our children that goes just blindly unreported. Stories like ours with our daughter and some of the bad actors that have come into contact with her. Just earlier this week, we had a convicted, just recently paroled sex offender locked up because a predator hunter organization from New Jersey drove all the way to Pennsylvania to get this guy on camera admitting that he was released, paroled in September, and within 30 days, he already had a social media profile. He'd made contact with our daughter, and he was sending her explicit imagery. And we don't know exactly the full extent because one of the other problems with Snapchat, and it's something I think that they really heavily market, and it's why bad actors use the website, is there's this ability to delete messages right after sending them, right after receiving them, or they
started doing that on the other social medias too.
Yeah. And it's really scary.
I don't like Snapchat. I have a Snapchat, but I don't even use that. I won't go into why I don't even use it, but every positive thing social media has done, it's created a negative thing, but that's with anything and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So is Aubrey considered a runaway at this time, or?
Well, it's tricky. So let's take the official position of the police, which they just clarified earlier this week, that they are cautiously optimistic it is a non-criminal matter. But in the same article, they're also saying they have no idea where she is. They're confirming that there is nobody who has given confirmed evidence they've had any contact with her since Saturday, January 11th. I think for my wife and I, from the moment she left our house, we considered her missing and endangered. And that's the story
Absolutely.
we've been trying to drive home. And so, yeah, there's a consternation in our home, certainly, with this depiction by law enforcement that really seems more like they are pulling back their efforts. And now they're beginning to spin a new narrative that this is just a runaway girl. And the stories that they're telling in the media are coming almost exclusively from two families that are the last known and only known people that had contact with her within the first 24 hours that she left our home.
So,
Yeah.
so to paint this picture real quick. So she left the home. You thought she was upstairs taking a nap, right? She left the home. We know that she left the home on her own free will. Am I correct? Just stop me if I'm wrong. She left her on her own free will. She's still a minor. I'm just so my background, if you don't know, I'm a former Florida State trooper. State police officer. So, and she left home. She is a minor, and she left home regardless of whether it was her own free will or not. She still left home. So at that point, a runaway. Totally got that. But then let's dig into her social media accounts. Has anybody done that? Dug into her social media accounts, see who she chatted with, who she might not have chatted with, or what be it? And then these other two couples, or these other two houses, if you will, that did have contact with her in the 24 hours, are they helping to assist law enforcement in any way, shape, or form with that, and try to, say, hey, the last time we talked to her, she said she talked about this guy, Bob, or whatever be it, or this girl that she really was really digging and was really like best friends with, Jenna, or whatever be it. Is there any new evidence or anything like that?
Go ahead.
So, go ahead.
All right. So, to answer the question, are they assisting? No, they are not. They, from the first night that Jade and I think, won our personal Powerball lottery, to have Jade, after 25 hours of being awake, sitting at the computer as an inbound message came in that this young boy thought was going to our daughter, but it was actually Jade sitting at the computer in her account. So that kind of answers your first part of that question about her social media. So we were able to get her social media handle from one of her girlfriends. We got a little bit of luck in that a common password our daughter uses for many other things. She thankfully used it for this, and we were able to get in, and Jade was sitting there when we received that contact. That family did not answer any of our panicked crying calls Saturday, January 11th. We made about 20 of those. We sent text messages. We created a text thread that included the detective who was leading the missing persons investigation. And we just, frankly, our messages, while panicked and, maybe for a person driving who thinks that they're helping a young child, the essence of our messages were, please pull over if you don't believe us and call 911, because that's the appropriate thing to do as an adult.
Absolutely.
That individual did not do that. Instead, she allegedly drove back to her home, where she then claims when the Pennsylvania State troopers got to her home responding to our 911 call, she claims that our daughter ran out the back door. But with new information that we're finally receiving from authorities, what we know is that this woman's home is 2 hours by foot from where Aubrey has been the only known confirmed sighting, which is 9:30 p.m. at a Wawa in Whitehall, Pennsylvania, which is on a highway. So it's 2 hours from the home, yet the timestamps of the Pennsylvania State Trooper at the home of this woman and our daughter at the Wawa is at nearly the exact same time. So if you do the math, it's impossible for a juvenile. Our daughter is fast and she's athletic. She is no Olympic level sprinter who is cutting a 2-hour walk in 20 minutes. So there is definitely a lot more questions than answers and cooperation at this time from those two families.
What is so again? Like I said, I know you were on Nancy Grace and stuff. What is? Have you gotten any feedback from the PSP? Um, I know PSP very well. I've trained with some of them. So, have you gotten any feedback from the PSP, or are they just saying it's just a runaway? She'll come home eventually. I mean, I find that very difficult as a parent, as a former law enforcement officer, as a human being that would say, "Hey, she's how old is Aubrey? 14, right?
14. Yeah.
14. I was 14 years old. That is a most difficult time. There's a lot of hormones, emotions, a lot of, do I play with G.I. Joe action figures? Do I date girls? What do I do? There's a lot of things that go on. So that's a very difficult age for girls and boys. I just find it hard. Is there anything that the PSP is coming? I find it difficult that the PSP really is just going, she's a runaway. She'll come home eventually. Runaways generally come home after days. I think, seriously. I mean, unless they're an older or more mature and are not being assisted. I hate to put that out there. But I'll share my story I'm not very proud of. When I was 14, I ran away from home. And my thing was I was trying to go from Miami to Kentucky where my grandparents lived. And I literally made it less than an hour away from my home before I got picked up by a cop. I mean, a cop riding by, and I went like this in my face, and she goes, "Come here," right? Put me in the back seat. She goes, "You're a runaway." And this is a cop that didn't know nothing about nothing. You're talking about in the 1980s, for goodness sakes, before internet and your picture was posted out there. So, generally runaways either get caught or they come home pretty soon on their own. I would have came back pretty quick because I was pretty freaking hungry and I didn't have any money. So without the assistance, usually a runaway comes back home. Now, once you become assisted as a runaway, that's a little bit different story.
Mm-hmm.
Has PSP even given any enlightenment to that? Or it's heartbreaking for me to hear you say that it's kind of like they're like, she's a runaway.
So Mike, I'm gonna tell you our one and only contact with the Pennsylvania State Police, and I don't mean this story or what I'm going to say here to be disparaging. I want to be very clear, and I'm going to preface everything that you are looking at two of the biggest supportors of people in uniform that protect.
I hear it. Absolutely. I hear it in your voice. You are not being disparaged at all. I, as a former state trooper, am flabbergasted. And again, I'm not trying to talk bad about them, and I don't want you to I'm not trying to pull anything bad about you. But I am just I'm floored.
So it just broke today in our local media, but it has been obviously known to us for several weeks. This is our one and only interaction with the Pennsylvania State Police. They called me to inform me several weeks ago that they were going to be pursuing and charging me with harassment of the suspects related to our daughter's disappearance. And that story broke on our local media today. So I can now talk about it. Pennsylvania State Police has not returned our phone calls from the day that they did the 911 stop at this elderly woman's home. She is a 1% level wealth individual, connected with many properties in our area, many properties in the state of Colorado, in the area of Vail, Colorado. And in fact, the day after the Pennsylvania State Police went to her home on our 911 call that she had abducted our daughter, because that was our feeling when we are told that a disheveled older woman in a large black SUV grabbed our daughter, threw her in her truck. After she tried to give her to another family. That family rejected our daughter, but I don't want to give them any cover here because they are the family that called in the welfare check the night earlier. So they knew intimately that our daughter was considered a missing persons at that time. And after this interaction where they rejected our daughter, they went back in their house for 35 minutes and just put the TV back on. It was their son who went to his bedroom, pulled out his Snapchat to apologize to our daughter for the way his parents treated her. And that is how we made contact. So there's a blessing and a curse in there. We understand how problematic their decisions were as adults, but we are very thankful that their son and whatever his very strong feelings about our daughter center around. He is the only reason we know of the existence of these two families and their relation to our daughter's disappearance.
So just to be clear on a couple things for everybody here that's watching us, regardless of H Train.
Yes.
H Train, hello. Pay attention there, Bubba.
Oh. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he hit the wrong button. Sorry about that, everybody.
Sorry.
He gets in his little production mode and he starts hitting buttons. Here's the thing that I want to be clear on everybody. Aubrey is missing. She's a runaway and she's missing. If your child is, please bear with me. If your child is not happy in the home, not comfortable in the home, being abused in the home, I'm just saying you're abusing her. If these are things that are going on and she's being, let me do this. Let me talk about this. If your daughter is having an issue in the home because you don't want her to date a certain guy or a certain girl, or you don't want her to use the phone, your parents, you have that right. That's the first problem that's going on in this country and in this world. As parents, you have a right to tell her because you're her parents. She does not have a right to dictate on who she talks to, who she doesn't talk to. Parents have the right to say that. Your freedom of speech doesn't start in the home when you're 15, 14 years old. That's not where it starts. So let's just hypothetically speak that you don't want her to date a certain person or speak to a certain person. So she runs away from home because she disagrees with you. And she goes to somebody's house, bangs on the door and says, my parents are horrible parents and this is what they're doing and so on and so forth. As an adult, excuse me, as an adult, as a law enforcement officer, you have a responsibility to contact that parent and tell them your daughter is safe. As an adult, forget the law enforcement side of it. You have a right and a responsibility as an adult to say, hi, my name is John. I just want to let you know your daughter, you don't know me. Your daughter came over here banging on the door saying that she is in fear for her life because you won't let her date somebody. We'll just use that as an example. She's safe here. I am going to call the police and let them know that she is here. And then we can figure this out as adults, as all of us, what the best course of reaction is. But to sit there and keep your daughter from you and not give you any information, I'm having a problem with that. I'm having a difficult
Thank you for having that problem. I wish that the authorities of our community leading the investigation, I wish that the Pennsylvania State Police, I wish that the Northampton County District Attorney of Pennsylvania shared your concerns, Mike. Many, many hundreds of people we have spoken to, nonprofit organizations that deal with missing and exploited children, every one of them asks us the same question. Has the FBI been contacted? There is something seriously wrong. And I haven't even mentioned why, Mike, because during the 23 hours that this woman had our daughter, Saturday, January 11th, she took her out of the state of Pennsylvania to the state of New Jersey to a dog show with her and had our daughter there for what we believe is something between 5 and 6 hours. Then brought her back home, let her shower, fed her, and she took her to the home of this juvenile and his family who had made the welfare check phone call from their community, which is a 35-minute drive from our home. A community, in fact, that Jade and we had never even heard of the name of the borough until we had to go there to try to figure out how our daughter ended up out there. We do not know these people. We have no connections to them.
Yeah, until this day, we still don't know how my daughter gets there at the first place. And then her encounters with this woman and the other family. All this are all new to us, like at that time, and we have no idea who are these people. And I also cannot understand why they are not cooperate with authorities. And seeing this little girl that crying for help, that left home, that really needs help, or even say that she's suicidal, and and comments. But this individual decided to take it on her own hand and took my daughter and shelter her, harbor her, and take her out of state and come back. This is kidnapping. And I don't understand why our authority don't see it that way. That we cannot understand, and we will not stop asking.
I mean, I totally agree with you. Jade and John, listen, I can't agree with you more. If there's something going on in the house, child services should be involved, law enforcement should be involved. There should be answers. Hey, listen, Aubrey has made these accusations. We're investigating them at this time. She's in a safe place. You're not going to know where she's at, but she's safe right now, to give you a peace of mind, just to give you a peace of mind until we further follow these investigations, if you will, or these allegations, if you will. We're going to do this. That's peace of mind. But to sit there and say, she's not the Messiah. She's not the missing link. She doesn't need to be hidden from her parents, period. End of story. Parents need a peace of mind to know she's okay. And I think that's realistic. That's very realistic. And that's what you're asking for. You're asking to know that she's okay. And that what's the next procedure of getting either our daughter back or getting answers to what in the heck's going on. I feel like you're being kept a lot in the dark by law enforcement and stuff. And I mean, that's just my opinion again. And I hope and I pray that, I don't know what to say. I'm floored.
I completely agree with your opinion. And that's exactly what we are going through the whole time. Like, can you believe I just learned about my daughter's update information from the news? We've been working with the law enforcement.
We can believe it. We got our updates in Iraq from CNN. So
every day, immediately, anything we find out regarding to my daughters will help to inform them, to investigate. We handed in all the information immediately, but we never heard back from them. And when we heard back, it's basically telling me nothing. And I learned about new information from Dateline NBC News.
And I think a great example of the disconnect in communication between our home and the police, who I just want to reiterate, we are still trusting and imploring them to bring this young girl home. But this, sex predator that was yesterday was booked back into jail on a parole violation, and he's now going to face new additional charges for violating the terms of his parole in relation to Aubrey. This gentleman was in communication with Aubrey as of January 9th, the day before she left our home. And so while the predator hunter has this man on camera making several admissions, including that he sent explicit imagery of himself, he did that on a live video. He maintained a burner phone to do his child pornography, which is where he encountered our daughter. He also adds that he had an invitation to pick her up from her high school. Our daughter rides the bus, so we are not even understanding where that comes in. But what I want to say here is, over 2 weeks ago, on a Friday night, when we first are able to connect all these dots about this individual, my first phone call, as it always is to the law enforcement. I called the lead detective on Aubrey's missing case. He was off work that day. I called his department. They called me back. I said, what do you want me to do? I've got this individual's details. It matches what is potentially some of Aubrey's girlfriends are describing as a man of suspicion here. Given his influence over our daughter and the recency of their relationship. And their answer was, we'll add it to the file, do what you see fit, and if you need to, dial 911. Now, this was not in our jurisdiction, right? So I understand that they're not going to drive into another jurisdiction, but what I want to express here is the lack of urgency. I'm calling to say we have identified somebody who fits the profile of a suspect you have been looking for a month and a half. I would think they're going to jump out of their seats like Jade and I did and get right in the car and drive to this individual's home. Well, on a Friday night at 12:30 at night, Jade, myself, and there was a third party that helped us. We staked out the home that we believe this man was at. We made a visual identification of him. We then called 911 in that jurisdiction. They responded. So they are Easton City. They are the larger city where the suburb under them. So our mail will say Easton, but we live in Palmer. So that's how, like, we're like a brother-sister community. Well, when we make the 911 call, they got there quickly in about 20 minutes, long enough for this to happen, though. So we had done a fake DoorDash delivery of McDonald's to draw this person out of the home. It worked. We visually made identification of this individual. When we come back there with the police, now we're parked a little bit down the street, right, to be not visible. It's the middle of the night, but we want to, of course, see the police possibly save Aubrey. Well, what we end up seeing is, I would call it, a whole bunch of bureaucratic protections that are now in place for these predators. The police banged on every door of the home. A resident of the first floor opened it, would not confirm that individual lived there. But ironically enough, outside his door where the DoorDash driver left the bag of McDonald's, it was gone. So the police come back to our car. They are extremely apologetic, and they let us know about exigent circumstances which are not applicable in this situation, because as the parents of the missing kid, it's not credible that we say we see a known predator in that home and we think our daughter's in there. So we left and we made a new friend, a predator hunter. And then that man, within 1 hour of being in the state of Pennsylvania, 60 minutes, he gets that man on camera, which has been released through our Facebook group, telling a sordid, detailed story about how he was released on parole in September. Within 30 days, he was already on social media communicating with our daughter and other young girls in the community. He had shared explicit photos of his genitalia, and he had an offer to come pick her up at high school. And there were some lies he told. We already know those, and so did the Predator Hunter team. But what's interesting is, at the conclusion of a 50-minute conversation full of this individual sharing those details, his knowledge of consent laws in Canada and other things, they call Easton City Police. Well, also on this Predator Hunter's body cam is the conversation that Easton City Police have with this gentleman. He's sitting reclined, relaxed on his banister in flip-flops, ankle monitor on him, present in this video, and they leave him. They did not bust him on the parole violation. They did not bust him on his admission to them directly that everything the Predator Hunter was saying was on the body cam and being streamed live to a community of observers. Wasn't enough for him to get arrested that night. Well, thankfully, the parole system and process works very differently. They received a call first thing in the morning reporting the incident, the parole violation. They promptly went out there and put this man back into custody, and he's now sitting back in the Lehigh County Jail, where it looks like he is not going to be back on the streets for several years. And that's appropriate, as by his own admission, he has a disease and it is out of control.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I mean, it's sad that we live in a society that it took that long and those steps to actually, do that. What would be your message? I want to give you time right now. What would be your message? And again, thank you so much for being on the show. What is your message out there for Aubrey? I'll be honest with you. What is your message for Aubrey? And for those that may be harboring a juvenile runaway? I hate to say it like that, but I mean, that's essentially what they're doing. If you don't have answers to your daughter being away from your house and being with another adult, and the police are okay with that, either law enforcement, PSP needs to step up and say, hey, we know that she's okay. We're going to give you like I said earlier, we're going to give you some peace of mind. She's okay. She's with somebody. She's in child protective custody, whatever be it. And there are allegations that she has brought forth to us that we are going to have to look into. But just to give you a peace of mind, she's okay. As parents, I think that that's a very reasonable accommodation for you guys, or demand, if you will, from you. What is your message to Aubrey and just for everybody out there? Aubrey, come home, figure this out. I mean, what is your message?
Aubrey, if you can see this, I want to tell you, we will never stop fighting for you. We love you and we miss you every day. And I know right now I hope that you are safe and reach out. And if you are unable to, and I will tell the person, if you are watching this and you are holding Aubrey, we will hold you accountable for sure, not to the end of the world. And please, like, authorities, this is emergency. My daughter has been missing for 62 days. I really need your authority, your power, your skill to recover my 14 years old endangered daughter.
And the only thing I'll add, and I always, and I've been trying to say this just as loudly as I scream at the bad actors around Aubrey. Aubrey, I'm very sorry for not believing you Thursday night. I'm very sorry for not knowing just how badly adults you trusted failed you. And they did fail you. No one should have been talking to you about those types of things without letting Mom and I know. When you told us, I was so unbelievable. It's why I didn't believe it. But they've admitted it to us now. And I'm sorry. And I'm not disappointed in you. I am disappointed in those adults that we trusted to give you good counsel and guidance. And I know you love Mom, and I know you love me, and I'm sure you miss us as much as we miss you, kiddo. Orangey, I talk about him all the time. He misses you too, kiddo. Please, if you can make contact, whether it's with us, if you want to reach out to one of your friends, somebody you trust, then we trust, so we know you're okay. And I agree wholeheartedly with what Jade said in terms of the message to any adult that might be involved in this or has previously had contact with Aubrey. Do the right thing. There's ways you can anonymously even provide information about yourself without identifying yourself. And as an example, you might call in or have someone call for you and say that a woman in this community is acknowledging she had an encounter with Aubrey, and maybe you bought her a meal somewhere or you gave her some money for a bus. These are very, very valuable pieces of information. And Any idea, John, where does she have friends outside the state or outside or anything like that? Or yes, there are. I mean, honestly, Mike, it's scary to say it this way, but we're looking at a coverage map of possibilities from California to Saudi Arabia right now. And I mean that very serious. Our daughter was in touch with people in these locales. California is the home of biological dad, who she's never met. And also where Jade and Aubrey lived for the first 10 years of Aubrey's life. So that makes that definitely a possibility. Scary for us to think of her trying to travel across the country. They also lived for a bit of time in New Jersey. So that's a community that we're looking at. And then, there's just a lot of things in between. But really right now where we are putting the most pressure on law enforcement, and we've got a really promising meeting coming up next Monday. I can't disclose with what parties, but I will just say it is parties that are at a level above the current team handling things that are going to take a fresh set of eyes at this matter. And we're very optimistic about what they can bring to bear here in this situation. But it's pretty devastating, Mike. There's a lot of possibilities.
Again, on behalf of Military Broadcast Radio and myself, Veterans Talk, and in the veteran community out there, we wish you well. We hope that she comes home very soon. Pam Bondi, Senator, if you guys ever get a chance, even to see a snippet of this, please step in. Please figure this out for us.
We need them desperately.
I mean, obviously, there's more than meets the eye that's going on here, and the questions need answers. We have. It seems like we have more questions than we do answers here. Thank you both again for being on the show. I can't thank you enough. It's an honor to have you here under the circumstances. Unfortunate, but we here at MBR and Veterans Talk, we're going to have a picture of your daughter every single segment until she comes home. That's our promise.
Thank you very much.
Normally where Joel and I are on here and there's nothing else, we're going to do a 3-page like this, and we're going to have her picture on here until she comes home.
Thank you. Our daughter, YouTube is her #1 platform above all else. So if she's tagged in posts, your content, inevitably, if she is able to, we do know she is a social butterfly in person and in this web space, and YouTube is where she spends her time. So we thank you all so much for everything you've done professionally for communities like ours, and what you're still continuing to do for us. It serves a service that you have to be in our exclusive club to understand just how desperate it is for people like you both to help us tell our story.
So I have a question, and this is actually to you, Magic Mike. So you being former police, and the situation that they're going through, I'm sure that they've gotten, advice and stuff from lawyers and stuff. But if you was in John's position, Magic Mike, what would you advise him to do from this point on? What's the next step?
I'm going to give you one thing. So just remember this: the squeaky whale always gets the oil. Period. End of story. Don't be silent. Don't go away. Don't accept okay. Stay on top of it. Stay on top of it. If I can give any advice, that would be the greatest advice. As far as the next step here, it sounds like you have a meeting on Monday. And, we would love to have you back on. We'd love to have updates. And you could feel free to email me here at magicmikembradio.us, or, drop us a line. To all my TikTokers out there that are watching right now, all my YouTube, all my Instagram, if you're watching right now, Aubrey Wu, if you're listening right now, just let us know you're okay. A simple phone call.
Yep.
A simple phone call. Go to a gas station, say you lost your cell phone, ask to use the phone if you want. You can even give us a call here at the radio station. We have a number on the screen. We're on Roku television, right? That would be your turn, Joel, to put that number up there. Listen to me. Joel's over there. Yeah.
I got the prompt.
Yeah, so it's 720-619-0627. Call us. Leave a message for us. Aubrey, if you're watching this, please just reach out to us. Let us know you're okay, kiddo. That's all. That's all we want to know.
One more
Yes.
thing I want
Yes,
to say.
Jake.
Aubrey, time to come home. The whole community waiting for you. Time to come home, please.
They want to throw a big party with you.
Your sparkle is still here waiting for you. We won't light it without you. Baby, please come home. We miss you.
You're in our hearts and prayers, both of you. My family at MBR, you're in our hearts and prayers. And again, if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
I'll send you guys an email and keep in touch with you. We'll get you guys on more shows.
Thank you.
Thank
At
you.
least one show every week. So until she's found.
Well, let's hope there's not many more, but if we need it, we appreciate it. That's for sure.
We appreciate you guys coming on. Any last questions, Magic Mike? Any last advice?
No, absolutely not. Again, thank you so much, and you're in our prayers and our thoughts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So that was, for some that might have been triggering, but it needs to be done. One thing that I'm going to do, and Magic Mike, you can help me after this. We have this nice little thing on our phone app that is kind of like an Amber Alert. I'm going to put in some information in there. Magic Mike will help me, And after this broadcast, we're gonna send a huge Amber Alert through our phone. It covers 80,000 people. We'll see if those numbers turn in anything. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it takes the right person to see it. Just that one person. And when we get off here, I'll probably send an email to my senator of Indiana, see if there's anything that he might be able to help with.
Absolutely. You're listening to Veterans Talk on Military Broadcast Radio. The radio station gives veterans a voice. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Well, he spent 22 years in the army. We talked Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. And what I learned from him's worth more than anything anyone's bought me. That camo jacket with our last name, still in my closet to this day. There ain't enough money in the world you can give me to throw it away. 'Cause I hold on to pictures and memories in that shadow box with everything still in it. Whenever he talked, I listened. So fly that flag in your front yard as high as you can, except for when we lose one, defending the land of the free. We're in the home of the brave. And pour one out for the ones who never made it home. Say a prayer for their mama as if she was your own. I can't wait to tell my boys about the wars we won. Yeah, I'm proud to be a soldier's son. And those cassette tapes he mailed home, I'd rewind them all night long. 'Cause when I closed my eyes, I felt like he wasn't gone. And Mama did the best she could, raising 3 kids while he stood on the front lines from dawn to dusk in a gun-smoke skyline. So fly that flag in your front yard as high as you can, except for when we lose one, defending the land of the free. We're in the home of the brave. And pour one out for the ones who never made it home. Say a prayer for their mama as if she was your own. I can't wait to tell my boys about the wars we won. Yeah, I'm proud to be a soldier's son. Yeah, I'm proud to be a soldier's son. Pictures and memories in that shadow box with everything still in it. Whenever he talked, I listened. And he said to fly that flag in your front yard as high as you can, except for when we lose one, defending the land of the free. Boy, you're in the home of the brave. So to this day, pour one out for the ones who never made it home. Say a prayer for their mama as if she was my own. I can't wait to tell my boys about the wars we won. No, I can't wait to tell my boys about the wars we won. Yeah, I'm proud to be a soldier's son.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Veterans Talk right here on the station that's giving veterans a voice. You're listening to MBR. I don't know if Magic Mike's coming back or not, but I did want to read some of the stuff that is coming across my desk real quick. Right now, the iHeartRadio is pushing out that the FBI warns iPhone and Android users to delete texts immediately. I guess the texts are like has to do with scams. It sends you something, says, hey, click on this link. Good rule of thumb when it comes to text messages, when it comes to emails, anything, whatever you do, never click on the link. Never click on the link. If you want to do anything, you can like reply to it, but don't ever click on the link. Also, what I was talking to in the first part of the show, now I've got the information. In Waterbury, Connecticut, a 32-year-old man was rescued after allegedly being held captive by his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, for over 20 years. The victim, who weighed only 68 pounds at the time of his rescue, has been confined since he was approximately 11 years old. His ordeal came to light on February 17, 2025, when he intentionally set a fire in his room, telling first responders, "I wanted my freedom." The victim's former elementary school principal, Tom Pennon, revealed that concerns about the boy's well-being had been raised as early as kindergarten. Staff observed him stealing food and eating from the garbage, prompting multiple reports to child services. Despite these efforts, no substantial action was taken, and the boy was eventually withdrawn from school. Sullivan, who is 56, has been arrested and has been charged with first-degree assault, second-degree kidnapping, and first-degree unlawful restraint, cruelty to persons, first-degree reckless endangerment. She is currently held on a $300,000 bond and denies the allegations, with her attorney describing them as outlandish. This case has been described by authorities as something out of a horror movie, highlighting severe failures in the system meant to protect vulnerable individuals. If that doesn't ring a bell, I don't know what does. We got into the weeds. Yep. And, everybody that's listening and watching today, thank you. We really appreciate it. And, we're going to go ahead and hit the 2-minute warning, and we're going to get out of here. But I do want to encourage everybody that if you feel lonely this week, you second guess yourself this week, reach out to a friend. Just tell them hi. Have that 8-minute conversation, because nobody's getting out of life alive. Okay. Justin Dangerly made a good post a couple of days ago when he was talking to his friends. He was like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Oh, my life's beautiful. It's great." And he's like, "Bullshit. You can't tell me that there's nothing wrong." He's like, "Try to catch me on a day where you don't wake up." It gives you a different point of view. Remember, when things are bad, just remember it can always get worse. And your lucky day can be every day. We have to give some grace to other people. So the 2-minute warning.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in.
It's the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. What we learned today. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
If you are clumsy like me and constantly drop your phone, I got you covered. I want to share with you a business I've been friends with and a client with since 2009. Denver iPhone Repair, your local solution for Denver electronics repair and mobile phone repair services. We can fix what others cannot. Call us for all your gadget repair needs. 303-630-9499 directions to see us head south on I-25. Merge onto I-25, south from downtown.
All right, and there once again, iDenver. If you have anything, especially if you're here in the local Denver metro area, check them out. You'd be surprised what they cover. You'd be surprised what they can help with. And and I tell you, it's look out, reach out. When you think something's not going to work, there's always a way. There's always a method. With that being said, everybody, we're going to call it. Magic Mike evidently is not going to be able to make it back to get his point. Let's see here. Yeah. And with that being said, we'll be back here next Thursday. Next Thursday, we'll be talking with The Mission Continues. Find out more about Mission Continues and find out more about that movie that they got going on next week. It's my dead friend Zoe or something like that. We'll be talking to the movie creators and them next Thursday. So with that being said, remember everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, we're definitely here for you. We're not here for us. We're giving veterans a voice. Bye, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right, we're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us, giving our veterans a voice.